Hey friends, hey, how's everybody doing today? Okay, you guys, I am super excited to be back with you today. My name is Kim, and normally you can find me blogging and crafting and DIYing and decorating over on my Facebook page, Instagram, or my blog, Salvaged Living, where I do lots of easy DIY and home decor for a life and home redeemed. But today I'm hanging out with you guys over on Maker Studio, and I am always so excited to be here and show you some fun stuff you can do with these amazing products. I love them, I believe in them, I use them in my house, and they have the cutest stencil for Easter that we're going to talk about today. So I want to show you the products we're going to use, and I'm going to throw like a million ideas at you, so just stay put. But this is the Happy Easter stencil. You guys, look how many cute possibilities you have in here. Honestly, this is just, oh my goodness, I can think of so many things to do. And I'm going to give you a lot of ideas today on how you can use this stencil and some tips and tricks on which paints you're going to want to use for different types of projects. And just show you a really cute thing today that I found that I wanted to just take up a notch. So you guys, I'm going to flip the camera and I'm going to show you up close exactly what I'm doing. I would love for you, before I start getting into this project, to just say hi. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me if you have this stencil and how you've used it. And I'm going to be using the ceramic paints, and I really don't know what all colors I'm going to use. I'm kind of making this up as I go, but Always a Bridesmaid, Peony Pink, You're the Water to My Ocean, and Smoke Gets in Your Eyes are just really fun, soft colors for spring. So just make sure you have a whole arsenal of colors to choose from. We're also going to use some of the squeegees today. I always like to have them on hand. I never know which one's going to work until I kind of get into the project. And then of course I love the Maker Studio little brushes. These are great for painting on small areas. And then I'm going to be using this pot that I actually got from the dollar spot at Target, because when I saw it, I was like, this is super cute, but it could really go up a notch or two with some cute stenciling on it. So we're gonna make this little baby over. It was $3 at Target. You guys, you can find stuff like this all the time at the Target dollar spot or Dollar Tree, things like that. So just keep your eyes on the lookout for something that looks kind of fun and neutral that just is begging for a makeover, and make sure you just grab it and have it in your stash. And then you can take it up for the holidays or everyday use, and we're gonna show you how to do that today. So let me flip the camera down a little bit and we will get started, but don't forget to tell me hi. I love to craft with you guys and know where you're coming from and what you're up to. So I look forward to seeing that in the comments. All right, so let's take this precious Happy Easter stencil. You can get it from makerstudio.com and have so much potential with this cuteness. I am always partial to a little bit of typography and a little bit of artwork kind of mixed together. And so since I got this little pot at the Target dollar spot, I want to kind of decorate both sides of it. So I am thinking we're definitely going to use this He Is Risen. And then I'm going to use this bunny, because this year I'm just feeling all the bunnies. And I think this border is so fabulous, you guys. If you find a terracotta pot or some kind of pot that doesn't have a little rim like color on it already like mine does, this would be so stinking cute wrapped around the top or the bottom of a vase or a pot. So I'm kind of talking a lot about ceramic stuff right now because I'm going to use the ceramic paint on this. But remember that you can also use the gel art ink and use these stencils on fabric. Like if you wanted to do some napkins for your Easter table, this would be really cute. You would just use the gel art ink, which is permanent safe. If you wanted to do something cute on a piece of wood or charcuterie or something like that, you could use the chalk art to do something that was not permanent. But for me right now, I'm going to use the ceramic paint on here because it is a permanent paint. and I want this to stay. Because yes, I think this is part of Easter decor, but honestly, this is something to celebrate all the time. So if you're not familiar with how these stencils work, and if this is your first time, make sure and let us know. I want to say hi in the comments about that. But these stencils have a little bit of mesh in them. They're reusable, repositionable. If you don't like where you put that, you can just peel it back up and move it around. So you want to just get it stuck on there really nice and smooth. And then I think I'm going to I'm feeling the pink. I'm going to do the Peony pink. And that's always a good question. Do you say Peony or Peony? Everybody does that different. I'm just going to shake it up a little bit. But the way that this ceramic paint specifically works is it's a permanent paint for plates, for dishes, for glass, ceramics. And all you have to do is put it on your little stencil, take your squeegee and push it through. Make sure you get good coverage through your stencil, through that mesh. It's like a silk screen kind of situation. Very different than a traditional stencil in the fact that it's going to give you so much more detail. It's going to let you do these really fine letters and words that you would not be able to do otherwise. And that is really the benefit, or I think one of the benefits of using these stencils. You can do some really professional looking things on your items that you want to decorate, and it doesn't look like you just stenciled something on there. It doesn't look totally store-bought. I mean, it doesn't look homemade. It looks store-bought. Sorry. So a lot of paints that you're going to use on a ceramic surface like this or a glass surface would need to be heat set, but not this one, okay? So you're just pressing it through, making sure you have good coverage. It takes such a small amount of paint. So these little jars, these little tubes of paint go a really long way, you guys, okay? You're going to want to peel this off, and then look how fabulous that is. It is perfection, and you can't get that with any other type of stencil, you guys. So what you're going to want to do is wash this pretty quickly. Just wash it in your sink with some warm soapy water so that you don't let that paint dry in your stencil, that you can reuse it over and over. And then for this paint that's actually on your surface with the ceramic paint, you just let it dry overnight and you're good to go. You don't have to heat set it or do anything like that. You are good to go. What I'm going to do real quick is put this over here. A lot of times when I'm working like this, I'll have a water bath on the side that I can just slide that over into and not worry about having to get up every time to wash it. So I'm going to stick that over here in there and let that soak. And then we're going to get into the other side of what I'm going to do on this one. All right, so I think this is really sweet on one side. I would like the other side to have a little extra something. And so what I wanted to do is just literally directly on the other side. You might want to use a heat gun just to let it dry a little bit, not to set it, but just so you don't mess it up if you're working on the other side. I just don't want to mess up what I did. So I'm going to just go kind of directly across. And I'm going to use this little bunny because I think it's so cute. And actually, just kind of got an idea. I think what I'm going to do, just when you put it on there, make sure you kind of hold it and look at it from afar, and you can kind of tell a little bit better if you're straight or if you need to put put it down again. One of the reasons I love using these stencils on a glass or ceramic surface is because you honestly can't get this kind of finish with a regular stencil on a slick surface like this. Oops, that was not good. It just doesn't work. So you really do get such a different finish and benefit from using these mesh stencils on this kind of a surface. It just allows you to detail differently and not worry about the stencil bleeding and things like that. All right, so let me grab, oops. All right, so here's my paper towel. I kind of squirted that out. It's okay. So also I got a little outside of there, so I'm just gonna wipe that off while it's still, before it dries. Gonna wipe off the excess. What you'll notice is if you don't smooth the paint out, you'll sometimes see those ridges in your stencil, which is really not that big of a deal, but it does help to just have a nice smooth surface on here. So cute, that little bunny. I just love how it's kind of reminds me of a vintage toile or something like that. So I'm just gonna clean that ceramic up while it's still, before it sets and dries. So don't worry about it if you mess up. It's a good reason to remember that sometimes it's better to add more paint later. All right, so what I'm thinking I want to do here is take that bunny stencil and do it again, because if one bunny's cute, a couple bunnies are better. So just put it down again because it's reusable, repositionable, and I want you to know that that is part of the fun. This time, I am going to put some of this in here, and I'm going to use a paintbrush to paint it on because I don't need it quite so thick as the last time. You get right to those edges with the paintbrush. Sometimes you can get a little more control to get that paint spread over your stencil. I do think that this tool is really awesome for pressing in though. So if you want to make sure that you're really pressing down in those cracks and getting that paint where it needs to be inside your stencil, this is a great tool. I find that I can get 2, maybe 3 passes on a stencil before I really need to wash it. So cute. Just gonna clean that up again a little bit. I'm gonna try that 3rd pass. All right. You just don't want all the paint to dry in your stencil is kind of the main deal. So you kind of want to work quick, especially if you're going to do multiple passes on one stencil, because that paint will dry and it'll dry in the little screen. So take that press it in there with whichever squeegee tool you want to use. And there you go. You have a set of 3 bunnies, and that is so precious. And then it says he has risen. So one thing I would do that you could do to just take it up one little more notch is, I kind of love this for this project in particular. The smoke gets in my eyes. It a little bit looks like the paint was made to go on this. Oops, that was a lot. I don't need that much. It looks like it was kind of made to go on this pot. There's such the similar color. So I'm actually just going to put a little bit of blue in the rabbit's eyes. Just a touch. And I'm just going to highlight this rabbit a little bit with a little bit of blue. I just think it's a fun touch to make it look a little more cohesive. Like, you know, like the pot originally came that way. So don't forget, you can paint on color as well as stencil it. It's just a fun little kind of addition that you can try. So that is super cute. Just really rich and pretty. You could also come in over here and add a little bit of blue, like to this swirly part, just to make it look a little more soft and free-flowing. You could even water this down a little bit if you wanted to kind of use it as a little bit of a watercolor. But it's such a pretty way to just highlight. Just nice and soft. Just make sure your first coat's kind of dry before you do this. So I just think it makes it all flow together a little bit, just so nicely. Little, like I said, a little more cohesive. We could even do like a little bit of a, sort of like a shadow under these rabbits. Just really light. Remember, you can always add more paint. It's harder to take it away. So just be gentle with what you're adding. Remember, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be like a touch. And that is how you totally upgrade a cheap dollar spot pot. I hope you guys like this. Make sure you get over and order this stencil and get you some fun colors for the ceramic paints. And then if you want to see more of what I do, I would just love to have you follow me over on my page, Salvaged Living. And we do all kind of fun stuff like this all the time, you guys. So have fun, create that great stuff, and enjoy. Bye, guys.